In the earliest days, before men walked the earth, when the world was still young and even the gods were children, there was a forest unlike any other. This forest shimmered with a light that did not come from the sun, nor from the moon, but from the very heart of the world. Leaves glowed faintly, rivers reflected colors no mortal eyes would ever see, and the air was filled with the song of creation itself. Here the baby gods gathered. They were not yet rulers of Olympus, nor bearers of storms and seas. They were children, full of wonder, laughter, and the purest innocence. Baby Zeus toddled about, chasing the echo of thunder in his giggles. Baby Apollo plucked invisible strings in the air, as though a lyre had already been born into his hands. Baby Aphrodite splashed in the rivers, every drop turning briefly into a sparkling jewel before falling back into water. Baby Hermes, quick as the wind, tied glowing vines into knots just to see if anyone noticed. The forest loved them, for it knew they carried the seeds of destiny. Yet even in such harmony, there was a mystery waiting, something older, purer, and gentler still. A legend that no god had ever touched, but all had dreamed of. The legend of the unicorn. One morning, when dew sparkled like crystal beads and the scent of honey drifted through the air, the baby gods gathered once again in the glowing forest. The mist lifted slowly, revealing flowers that bowed as the children passed. Birds of radiant colors, feathers like rainbows, fluttered above their heads. Every living thing greeted the divine infants, for even the smallest ant could sense their importance. Zeus clapped his small hands, and the clouds above rumbled like a sleepy giant. Aphrodite braided garlands of flowers, placing them upon her golden curls. Apollo hummed, and the trees bent ever so slightly, leaning closer to his melody. Hermes laughed and ran in circles so fast that butterflies were carried in his wake, tumbling like confetti. Their laughter filled the forest, and when it faded, something else appeared in its place, prints upon the ground. Hoof prints, but not the common marks of deer or goat. These were radiant, glowing softly, as if each step had pressed starlight into the soil. The baby gods leaned closer, the tiny lights pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. One after another, the marks stretched forward into the mist, calling them deeper into the forest than they had ever gone before. Aphrodite reached out her hand, hovering above the glow. "Whose could these be?" she whispered. Apollo's eyes widened. "Not a mortal's." Zeus frowned slightly, shaking his curls. "Not even a god's." Hermes tilted his head, a mischievous smile curving across his lips. "Then it must be a legend," he said, and with a shout of joy, he darted ahead to follow the shining path. The others followed quickly, their small footsteps pattering across moss and stone. The deeper they went, the quieter the forest became, as though it too were holding its breath. And then, at the edge of a clearing wrapped in mist, something stirred. A white shape, brighter than moonlight, stepped forward. A mane that shimmered gold in the light of dawn, a silver horn spiraling from its brow, and hooves that left blossoms blooming wherever they touched the earth. It was the unicorn. The baby gods gasped in unison. Aphrodite clasped her hands to her chest. Apollo's song caught in his throat. Even Zeus, who could shake the skies with laughter, stood still and wide-eyed. The unicorn lowered its head, eyes calm and knowing, and the forest exhaled as if it had been waiting for this moment since the beginning of time. Hermes crept forward first, his small hands open. "Hello," he said softly, his voice like bells carried on wind. The unicorn did not shy away. Instead, it breathed gently, and a wave of warmth filled the clearing. Aphrodite stepped closer too, her garland of flowers glowing brighter as she reached to touch its mane. Zeus let out a delighted laugh, a sound like distant thunder that made the unicorn's ears twitch but not flee. And Apollo, smiling shyly, hummed a note so pure that even the horn of the unicorn shimmered in response. Together they surrounded the unicorn, not with chains, not with commands, but with curiosity and kindness. The unicorn accepted them, And for the first time in all the ages of the world, gods and unicorns shared the same light. The ground beneath them blossomed into rainbows. The rivers sang in harmony. And for one long, golden moment, innocence ruled the earth. As the baby gods climbed onto the unicorn's back, the forest erupted into colors unseen. With each step the unicorn took, flowers of silver and blue bloomed. Trees bowed their branches, and even the clouds above parted to reveal endless skies. The children laughed and clung to its mane, and the unicorn carried them not as burdens, but as companions. Together they raced through meadows that glowed like dawn, across rivers that turned to crystal beneath their hooves, and under arches of rainbows that never faded. The world seemed to pause, holding its breath in awe of such purity.